Well, welcome to the Military Wire with Mike Schindler. This is a podcast where we interview America's most elite men and women who have served this country. We share their stories of overcoming, their proven lessons in leadership, and their journey to finding mission and purpose. And guys, I got to tell you, today we're taking a break, a bit of a break from tradition, but we can break tradition for a country music legend. From his Dove Award-winning gospel albums to his genre-defining Southern rock anthems and his CMA Award-winning country hits, few artists have left more of a mark on America's musical landscape than Charlie Daniels, the one and only Charlie Daniels. Over the course of his career, Daniels has received numerous accolades, including his induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Musicians Hall of Fame, and becoming a member of the Grand Ole Opry. Mr. Daniels, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mike, I didn't know I'd done all that, man. Darn.
Well, I'm telling you, I didn't know you did all that either. I started reading your bio, sir, and I was like, my gosh, this is amazing.
Well, thank you. Good to talk to you this morning.
Well, it's great to have you on the show, and I know we have you for a limited time, but, our audience tends to be a little bit younger, and I just want to share that I grew up on your music. But the cool part too is that you have always been an outspoken patriot. And what I love is that you've used your multi-platinum career, your platform, to really support not only our military, but underprivileged children as well. Gosh, sir, you're still doing it at the age of 82. You're going strong. This is amazing. What keeps you going?
Well, I've been a patriot all my life. You know, at the time I came up, I'm a child of the Second World War. I was 5 years old, born in 1936, so I was 5 years old when Pearl Harbor was bombed. And I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina, which is a seaport town. And we had, war cargo going out of there, going across the Atlantic. And we had ships sunk by German submarines just off our coast. I've heard it said, I never saw it because I was too young, that sometimes it was so close to our coast you could see the fires of battle from our beaches. And as I tell the crowd on stage every night, we were very vigilant. We didn't have satellite technology. We didn't have television. We never knew when the Nazis might try to bring the war on shore. They were right off our coast. So, we were very vigilant, but we always knew there was somebody out there standing between us and them. We always knew the military was out there. And, I came up being beholden to the military with the greatest respect, admiration, and gratitude for our United States military men and women. And, that has not changed one whit. I'm just as serious about it now as I've ever been in my life. And, I just feel we owe an unpayable debt of gratitude to the folks who have put that uniform on and went and stood in the breach for us. So, anything we can do to help out, we try to.
Man, I just love that. You know, I know you've got so many hits, but your song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, still an all-time favorite. And certainly my daughters know it, which is crazy. They're 16 and 13 and I still play on that song. I mean, man, you got to learn how to play the violin and the fiddle this way. I just love it. So you've got, I think it was in 2014, you and your manager, David, Curlew, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. You guys started a charitable organization called the Journey Home Project. Tell me about the Journey Home Project.
Our main mission with the Journey Home Project is we got to notice, and we've always done things with veterans for the years. We've been to overseas entertaining. We've been to Iraq 3 times, and gosh, I've been one time in Kyrgyzstan. We won't go into that. I just suffice it to say, I've been among our men and women in uniform in some pretty desolate parts of the world, and I just have developed a affinity with them, and when they get out, and we got to noticing that a lot of our folks, when they would get out of service, a lot of them out, of course, those years got out of war zones, that when they came home, there would be a period of adjustment for many of them, not all of them, but many of them, to try to get back into civilian life again, because it's kind of strange to them, especially somebody put in a long time in service. So we got to trying to find those niches and meet those needs. We've done things like help people get educations, help them get medical care, help them get, we've bought furniture, we bought a bicycle, for somebody to get to work on, transportation, whatever, that anybody that has served, whether most of them have served in combat, but whether they've served in combat or whether they haven't, if they meet our criteria, which is basically just, the need, and if we can afford to fill it, we do it. It's been a very rewarding thing for us that the need is great. I mean, people don't realize the trauma that a lot of people go through when they come back and try to go back into civilian life. And like I say, it's not everybody, but
sure,
we find all kind of cases. And the thing about it is, a lot of times there's so much pride, and there's such self-sufficiency. People used to taking care of themselves, taking responsibility for their own actions.
Yeah.
They don't like to talk about it. I mean, they don't until things get so out of hand that they really need some help. I mean, they just tend to suck it up and go on, and the need is great. The need is a lot. Sometimes it's just some minor things. I've got a friend that works, I've known him for years, and he's a local guy, been in local politics, and not particularly politics, but serving in the local governments and stuff in one capacity or another. And I knew him. I thought he was always a completely well-adjusted sort of guy. And I come to find out, just relative a couple of years ago, he's suffering from PSTD. Nobody knew it. He never brought it up to me.
Yeah.
And of course, we proceeded to right away. Get some try to give him some help, and it's worked really well. And one of the programs we do is we do a thing with. Now this sounds really weird, but we do a thing with we get the guys together with some of the Nashville songwriters. It's called Operation Song, and they literally write a song with the songwriter, and it has a lot of times it has a very cathartic effect. They talk about the things they want to talk about and the way it affected them, and oddly enough, there's been some good songs that come out of it. But we've had there's a 2-star general that sat down and wrote some very, very militarist guy. I mean, that you wouldn't think you'd get about something like that. And he sat down and wrote a song with a guy. And that's just one of the programs we do. We do all kinds of stuff, but that's one of the ones. And I was a little skeptical about it when it was brought to our attention about helping to finance it, because I didn't know how it would be. But I'm so glad that we did. I'm so glad we got talked into it, because it's been a really successful program. And the writers in Nashville, the professional writers, are in it up to their teeth. I mean, they enjoy getting together with these guys, and they just sit down, take a guitar, talk, and write, and get their ideas out, get their feelings out, and they put it in a tune and put lyrics to it. And so it's been a very successful program.
I think that's so awesome. I think many of, my brothers and sisters who, are still in uniform serving this country, they find comfort, and probably acceptance in country music, for whatever reason. I think it's, it's still very real. And the fact that you guys are, giving them the opportunity to kind of speak into that and be a part of it. I think to your point, there's a healing, component to that. And, I think it's so cool. Now you've partnered with an organization called Rich Poverty, dealing with new art exhibits. And, I believe at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., the exhibit's titled The Alliance Collection. Tell us about that. What is that? And I know the collection's available for viewing, but tell us a little bit about this Alliance collection.
Well, actually, we take applications. We have a standard application that when somebody, individual or a organization, we partner a lot with organizations, people like Shepherd's Men and anyways, several of them. And, we get application, we consider it, how can we spend the limited funds that we have to be most beneficial? And this was one that, seemed to be something that we could get involved in. We could afford to get involved in it. We have a very high national profile, and it's just I really don't know a whole lot about the organization, but they impressed us enough that we were willing to put some dollars in to help get it up there.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Well, Mr. Daniels, I know you got a busy schedule, but you've worked so closely with many of our veterans over the years. What advice do you have for those, getting out, someone who is about to transition, someone who has transitioned, what do you see as kind of something that you would look at that person, sit down with them, maybe over a beer, a cup of coffee, and say, son, daughter, if you would just do this, this will get you back onto the pathway to success? What would that be?
Well, the first thing is I want everybody to know I speak of what I know, not of what's in the New York Times or what some idiot on TV says. I know. I
love that.
I cross this country every year from coast to coast and border to border. I talk to a lot of people. I do a veteran segment on my show every night, and I happen to know, this is not guessing, this is knowing, the citizens of this country are very, very pro-military. I don't care what anybody else says. Let me tell you from one that knows, they're very pro-military. So first of all, I want our men and women coming back to know that America is behind you, that America cares about you, America appreciates you, America loves you, America wants to help you. There is so many that want to help. If you have a need, please make it be known. Don't keep it to yourself. We've got one of the things that we helped finance was at Middle Tennessee University. Is a veteran center there. There's a big veterans population there. And, you know, I mean, just speaking very plainly, you take some guy that's been, or gal that's been over in some place like Iraq during the heat of the war and everything, they come back and walk on a college campus. I mean, they must feel like nobody there knows what they're, you know, the people sitting at the next desk or whatever in the classroom, they have nothing to relate with you. But you go to this veteran center and sit down and talk to a bunch of people who've been through the same thing that you have. And they can relate to you and they can talk to you, and it is healing. So, you know, seek out your brothers and sisters, first of all. And if you need, there's people like me and our little organization, we're just a small cog in the wheel. But there's so many people out here that want you to be healthy and want you to be happy and want you to claim something that you have earned is a chance at the American dream. So claim it. If you need some help getting it, please don't be too proud to ask, because you have earned it. It's not, nobody can give you anything. We can only help try to repay you. So please, if you need help, ask for help, whatever it is. If you're having bad dreams, if you're doing this, doing that, whatever, somebody out here is wanting to help you. So let your need be known, and come on back in here and crawl into American life and go get you something.
I love that. I love that. Mr. Daniels, how do people find you? How do they support your nonprofit or your organization? Or do you even need and want the support?
Oh, definitely want support. Definitely. We're always doing fundraisers and that sort of thing. We're on the internet where it tells about us. We're on the journeyhomeproject.com. And we're not as visible as a lot of bigger organizations, and we don't do as much as a lot of bigger organizations. But we do our little bit. And, you know, we have the gentleman who was the Adjutant General of the state of Tennessee just a couple of months ago is on our board. So we get a pretty good military view of the applications that we get. There's very few that we get that he can't diagnose and come up with, you know, trying to figure out what the need is and how we best go about doing it. And I mean, we've got experience on our board. It's just the three of us, it's David, myself, and General Hasten. And we don't take long. We don't have big long board meetings and stuff. I've had board meetings standing somewhere. How you feel about how you feel, you know? So we don't
love it.
Our applications don't take 6 months to do. And like I say, we're one of the smaller outfits, but we try to make every dollar count. So anyway, we're here, Journey Home Project. Awesome. And all right.
That's awesome. Mr. Daniels, Charlie Daniels, country western legend. Truly a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, my friend. My pleasure.